Hi, everyone. Welcome to the So True Network with Dawn Johnson and Powers. I am so glad you're here, and I'm extremely excited to have you here for our In Tru Conversation series. In this space, we sit down with community leaders, educators, and our community voices who are making an extraordinary impact. Together, we'll explore how their journeys connect to the So True pillars: community empowerment, women's empowerment, and financial empowerment. These conversations are about truth in action, our overlapping circles with great people and their stories that remind us we are stronger together. As you enjoyed this conversation, be sure to subscribe so that you don't miss out on any of our So True updates.
Do you think that without that experience and meeting that pastor, do you think that your story would have been the same?
So what I do believe is that God has a plan for all of us.
Mhm,
By us being obedient, we either can take the direct road or the scenic route.
mhm,
So yes, I do believe that God has a purpose for
mhm,
me, and I would have fulfilled that purpose. I just think that the journey might have been different.
mhm.
No different than I know that that family member, it was meant for her to get her PhD and for her to realize her brilliance and be able to operate in her brilliance. However, if everyone on her journey had been obedient and maybe even her own obedience, um, that the path to that would have been different.
Mhm.
So yes, I do believe that I would have ended up doing the work, and and that just the journey or the path there may have been different. But I embrace, good or bad, every aspect on that journey, because still God's work is being done even in the journey, even in the evolution. It just made my testimony stronger.
Yeah.
It made me more passionate, made me more diligent, made me more persevering. Um, even in my giving, all of that was generated out of the journey.
Yeah. So you know how you shared it, and I'm still stuck on that story. To me, it's like
It was a lot there.
you think about there's so many lessons in it from just one, the youth and how important. Like I do to some degree like agree with the part about your story would still be what it is, but I think not without the obedience. Even though like as a kid, you didn't probably didn't realize that's the Holy Spirit like
Right. Yeah.
leading y'all to like that was God working through y'all as kids
Yeah.
to bring back the adults.
Hmm.
And so I'm thinking about all of that, but one thing I'm stuck on is I know you shared earlier how like you're introverted
Hmm.
and how uncomfortable just all the work you do like screams extrovert.
Right.
Like
Hmm.
how are you? Is it the work that you're doing? Is it still uncomfortable for you?
It's getting less uncomfortable. It's still uncomfortable. I'm always saying, okay, am I done yet with this part? Like I keep asking that question, but I embrace every opportunity, and every
Mhm.
opportunity seems to be the front stage part. So I'm always looking for that exit strategy. Like, okay, I'm done with this part. So I don't know, because it's not naturally who I am. I think
Mhm.
I will always like look for that opportunity. Like now I'm fascinated with writing books. I'm like, ooh, that can get me behind the computer. But then
Um.
even with writing the books, people want to talk about the book. So
Yeah.
it still kind of puts you out there. So yeah, it's still uncomfortable, but it's getting less and less uncomfortable. And when I tell people that you really just got to do it. I mean, it started with like I didn't really get in front of people until Reverend Gary Williams told me, I just need you to do this part. And it's funny because it was two significant pastors in my church, the churches that I attended. Reverend Gary Williams was the one was like, just do this part. Like he kept it simple, didn't make it, and so I felt like I was tricked
Yeah.
into getting on stage the first time. And then you always do it as kids. But even in the singing group, I was able to, hide amongst my cousins. It
Yeah.
wasn't me front and center. And then we had two really good singers that were always front and center. So then so then my current pastor, Reverend Jermaine Nichols of the Greater Works Center, when I was doing 8 Steps to Financial Empowerment, we started out just taping our sessions
Yeah.
with me just doing a workshop, which was comfortable because it's just a question and answer.
Yeah.
But then he was like, okay, I want you to do this workshop, with Sabrina Miles and Ola Martin, and y'all come together and take our congregation through every step once a month. That meant me standing on stage. But by this time, I'm so passionate about the work. I mean, I am 2 decades in to doing this work. So I got all the stories of the community people, of my family. So because it's already in me, these are just stories that I'm telling, wisdom gained, mistakes made, lessons learned. It becomes natural, and it's not like something that's rehearsed or that I even have to, do a whole lot. It's really just coming out of me. So that makes it's not a performance.
Yeah.
So I think that's what makes it a lot easier, because it's just literally authentically being who God called me to be.
Yeah.
And I'm just living that out loud.
Yeah.
But now the extrovert thing is, I understand that extroverts get fed from being amongst people. That's where that energy comes from. Introverts, we get fed from being by ourselves. So that's why I created the 4 quadrant life. When you talk about like how I compartmentalize my life, it is living in 4 quadrants to create harmony. So yes, my work to make money, which is my business, which was, what I did in corporate America that transitioned into entrepreneurship, that was 1 quadrant. I need that to make money. But then I always did meaningful work through community service. So now they kind of work in tandem, because I asked God, if you help me with this agency, I will use it as a platform to do your work.
Yeah.
So those are almost kind of merged together now. But the other 2 quadrants is the must. Like I tell people, I don't care what you do or if you do nothing at all. You gotta get the fundamentals in managing your money. Like I don't know how we're taking kids through an educational system and not teaching them how to manage money. Like that's the whole point of being able to take care of yourself as an adult. So I tell that's where the 8 steps for financial empowerment is so important, because it's foundational. Like you can go off and make mistakes, but if you have this foundation, you can recoup from those mistakes a lot quicker. So and then the other quadrant is, to speak to the introvert part, is moments. So I have money to pay the bills, meaningful work, your must, but then the moments. And the moments are for me what feed me. Like I gotta go into my alone space.
Yeah.
I gotta sit on that couch by myself sometimes, or go into my office by myself. And even when trying to figure out how to be a working mom, I would pick my daughter from school and like, okay, mommy needs you to sit right here, and you can, either watch this program or play on the computer. And when this hand gets here, then mommy's gonna come out and we're gonna, talk, and we're gonna make dinner or do whatever. And it's because I recognize that I always need the moments to fill myself back up when I'm giving myself to so many people.
Yeah, it's funny because I call them micro moments.
Yeah.
And like people, I don't know if you know this about me. I'll find me a place to take a nap. Like my wife thinks I'm crazy for this, and I tell people this. We have a Y membership. So there are times take the kids to the Y, and they have the daycare that's included in your membership. You get 90 minutes. So I go work out for 30 and go find me somewhere in the Y. I don't care who sees me, and take a 30-minute nap.
You and I would do, that's my hour lunch. Like I would take my lunch with me, sit in the car and eat my lunch, and I would park somewhere where there was water and ducks. Ooh. And in that peaceful moment, I could just close my eyes for 30 minutes and rejuvenate myself before I went back to work.
Yeah.
So yeah. So to bring this all full circle in terms of understanding what our young boys need, which I think if we solve the challenge with young boys, we solve the challenges with everybody. And so with that work, you tell us the most recent book that you wrote again.
The most recent book is The Ultimate Guide to Teaching and Reaching Black Boys.
Okay. So in that, how do you suggest everyday people who even maybe think that they're not qualified How do they get engaged with mentoring young Black boys and playing some significant role in their lives?
So I think you alluded to it earlier when you said one of your pastors, you were kind of reluctant to get on stage or do it. He's like, "Oh, just do this part."
Mm-hmm.
And so like my call to action would be for anybody that's watching this and that they'll hear it is just do something.
Right.
Even if you're at McDonald's and you see a young man and you just engage with him and have a conversation with him, you never know the seed that you will plant.
Mm-hmm.
Because I shared this story. I was on a different podcast recently, and I shared a story of a guy named Milkman. I don't know if I shared this story with you, but Milkman was just transparent. He was our neighborhood drug dealer.
Wow.
And I never forget the moment because in my neighborhood, every little kid wanted to be Milkman.
Wow.
Everybody. He had the nice car. When the ice cream truck would come, he would buy everybody something off the ice cream truck, right? Fast forward, one day I decided, and I was probably 7 or 8, maybe 9. I wanted to be Milkman. I wanted my own money. So me and my friends, we went to the Piggly Wiggly across the street, and we stole a whole bunch of cigars and Black and Miles when they used to be behind the counter. And we come back to the neighborhood, and we were going to try to sell them and to make money because we didn't know any better. And who I'm gonna go to? I go to Milkman. Wow. And Milkman grabbed my hand, he twisted it, and he walked me to my mother and my older brother. And he said, if I see Josh out here doing this again, I'm gonna break his fingers. Wow.
Yeah.
Just do something.
Right.
And from that point on, he always checked on me. Like he would share his story about how he felt like he was too far gone and but how he wanted us to be better than him in the neighborhood. Like that's literally saved my life. Because my other friends that maybe didn't have a milkman in their neighborhood, and I think about some of my students that are older and 18, 19, and some of them in their 20s now. I wonder if like, man, if did they have a milkman in their neighborhood?
Yeah.
Like, so to truly impact the next generation of boys, we just have to have a community mindset where it's not, oh, that's somebody else's child. Like just do something to help, do something to be there, do something to pour into them because Black boys are no different than any other kid.
Right.
And oftentimes, there's a lot of research and a lot of books and a lot of programs out there for Black boys. And one thing that my book talks about is that Black boys and their experiences are not monolithic. Right. They're not all the same. Mm-hmm. But what's the same with in my book, there's a framework called reach. Mm-hmm. What typically is the same, and honestly doesn't regardless of what that kid's background is people want people that truly care about them. Yeah. They invest in them. They empathize with their experiences. Like you affirm the skills and who they are like authentically are, and you have this like comprehensive wraparound support and for those students, and they will grow and they'll thirst. So like for me, if you want to like pour into those Black boys, it starts with that. Do something. Yeah. And I think this, like my number one call to action is being that mentor. Yeah. Being that father figure, being somebody who can consistently show up and support them.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because you have something to give, either the things that you're doing that have worked for you, mm-hmm, or the things that you messed up on, yeah, that you learned a lesson from. You, yeah, can teach either one. Mm-hmm. So we all either are doing some good things or we've made some mistakes. Yeah. So we have something to share. Thank you so much for joining us for In Tru Conversations. Every story shared is another piece of our collective truth that we're presenting to our community to build together. I invite you to stay connected with the So True Network by subscribing to our channel, liking our videos, and please share this episode with someone who you think may need it. Remember, your truth matters, and when your truth and my truth intersect, we will find liberty. So I'll see you in the next conversation.